Hello, welcome to yet another special presentation from the Cleanairbus production studio. Today, we will celebrate one of Latin America's most successful bus rapid transit systems, the Metrobús system in Mexico City, Mexico. The system started in 2005 with just one route along the Avenida de los Insurgentes, one of the longest and busiest urban avenues in the world. Since then, it has grown to 7 lines that crisscross the city, with extensions that bring the system to well over 100 route miles, rivaling the size of the entire Mexico City subway. Let's get into it. First, let's have a brief discussion about bus rapid transit. Bus rapid transit, or BRT, is a bus-based mode of transportation that combines the flexibility and low capital cost of bus systems with the speed and capacity of rail systems. In much of the world, bus rapid transit is employed as whole transit systems or as a mode within a larger network. Others use the technology for a single line or a group of lines as part of a transit network. Most BRT systems incorporate 7 main features. Dedicated bus-only lanes or rights-of-way to speed past traffic. Off-board fare collection, where fares are collected prior to boarding the actual bus itself. Special branding to differentiate the BRT from a standard bus network. Level boarding to allow all users, especially wheelchairs, to board with the floor of the bus level to the platform. Transit signal priority, which allows buses to change red lights to green or keep lights green to keep buses moving. High capacity buses to move more people within a given corridor. And high capacity stations and transfer points to accommodate high volumes of riders. Mexico City uses bus rapid transit as a mode of transport that incorporates several features that allow buses to operate faster and without many of the obstacles that standard buses face. Metrobús makes significant use of center-running bus lanes, taking the buses out of regular traffic and into essentially their own space. The buses have multiple wide doors for easier boarding and alighting. Most of the buses have left side doors that are lined up with special boarding platforms at stations specifically designed for 2 reasons: to allow for easier access to and from the buses, and to allow for fare collection to take place in the station rather than on the bus itself. Bus stops are spaced far apart to speed up the ride and provide regular stopping patterns. All Metrobús buses are red to distinguish them from regular buses or other types of buses. There are several different types of buses used in the system based on the line's features or setbacks and capacity needs. Let's look at the lines of the Metrobús system. There are 7 lines in total. Line 1 is the longest single line in the system, running on Avenida de los Insurgentes for 19 miles, with 46 stations, from Indios Verdes in the north to Caminero in the south.
This line uses the longest buses in the system, bi-articulated buses that measure upwards of 82 feet in length. Line 2 runs in the southern part of the city, from Tacubaya in the west to Tepalcates in the east. It has 36 stations along a 12-mile route. Some buses run along Line 1 from Nueva León to Colonia del Valle station. Line 3 runs parallel to Line 1, primarily from Tenayuca to Pueblo Santa Cruz Atoyac, with some service operating along Line 1 from the center city to Indios Verdes. Line 4 runs through the historical city center from Buena Vista Suburban Train Station to San Lázaro, Pantitlán, or the Mexico City International Airport. This is a unique route in that buses serve the historical district along two separate routes. The north route along the Belisario Dominguez and the south route along El Salvador Street. Due to the lines circulating narrow streets in this district, 40-foot and 45-foot low-floor buses are used, stopping at stations that resemble fancy bus stops. Line 5 runs north to south from Rio de los Remedios in the northeast to Preparatoria 1 in the southeast. This line is the second longest in the system, but has the most stations at 51. Line 6 runs east to west along the Calzada San Juan de Aragon from the El Rosario Metro station to Villa de Aragon. This runs loosely parallel to Metro Line 6. And finally, Line 7 is the shortest route in the network, running along the Paseo de la Reforma from Campo Marte west of downtown to Indios Verdes in the north. This line uses Alexander Dennis double-decker buses, the only line to use them. Opposition from the wealthier neighborhoods along the line prevented construction of a full line like the others. Metrobús uses several different types of buses in their network, with various different sizes, types, door configurations, vehicle lengths, and even bus manufacturers. Throughout the BRT system's history, Mexico City sourced most of their buses from the Volvo Group, the most common being the 7300 variant, specially built for most Latin American BRT applications. Neobus, a Brazilian bus manufacturer, also played a pivotal role in the success of the network, with early versions of their Mega Series with Volvo chassis and engines, as well as later models with Scania chassis. Marco Polo, another Brazilian bus builder, contributed with their Gran Viale BRT, very similar to those built for Bogotá's Transmilenio system, where Mexico City draws much of its inspiration. Though Mexico City's BRT is very well known in that country, they are only the second BRT system implemented in Mexico. Who was first? That honor goes to León with its SIT Optibus system, opened in 2003. So, what's in store for Mexico City's Bus Rapid Transit? What has transpired since my last visit? I first visited Mexico City in June of 2018. At that time, there was only one line that ran the bi-articulated buses, and that has not changed. In fact, the entire line is now 100% bi-articulated buses. The mainstay of Line 7 was 90 Alexander Dennis Enviro 500 double-decker buses, and that also has not changed. Line 4 uses 40-foot low-floor buses. Now it's upgraded to 45-foot 3-axle buses powered by either clean diesel or batteries, and has an extension to Pantitlán, the Mexico City Metro's largest subway station and one of the city's largest bus terminals. In addition to Line 4 operating BYD electric buses, Line 3 is slated to run 100% electric articulated buses from Utah. And just recently announced, Line 1 will test operate bi-articulated electric buses from Volvo, Utah, and Sunwind Latin America. One last thing to note, during my 2018 visit, I was able to use a smart card to pay my fares at turnstiles at every station. However, changing to other modes of transportation require using smart cards from the city entities that control them. Since then, every mode of transportation has migrated to using the Movilidad Integrada system, so fare payment and transfers are seamless, making the Metrobús feel more like an extension of the subway system and less of another layer of transportation. Mexico City is a world-class city with a world-class bus rapid transit system with humble beginnings along Avenida de los Insurgentes and the capability of moving thousands of people every day. Now, you might be thinking, Mexico City, world-class? If you're from the United States or anywhere in Europe, you might view the footage and assume that having overcrowded train-like buses in dedicated lanes doesn't take the place of trams or a proper metro, and you might be right. However, given the circumstances of this part of the world, having the political will to create solutions in the face of adversity that helps citizens freely move about, promote tourism, preserve history, and tame the concrete jungle, if you will, is just about as world-class as you can get. Though the city houses about 9 million people within city limits and 21 million people in the metropolitan area, Metrobús cannot move the entire city by itself. It was built not to move the entire city, not to replace their metro, but to complement the metro, which by itself moves about 4.6 million people a day, reaching parts of the city that desperately need rapid transit access. Now, this bus rapid transit system is far from perfect, but if it got Mexico City moving for 20 years, there's no reason for Metrobús not to make more progress for another 20. Thank you for watching. We hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. Check back for new content on Tuesdays and Fridays. The Cleanairbus Production Studio, showcasing mass transit.